All right, I want to move on to Tyrus. What is your favorite story, or your pick?
I went with Black Lives Matter. And honestly, I made a shirt because that's what I do in my free time when I'm not fishing.
Yeah.
My life matters with a big brain.
Yeah, that's
because what it basically comes down to is compliance and resistance. And if you look at, I would say 99% of all the video stuff that you've seen, where you've seen police brutality and things like that, it's during what? Non-compliance.
Right.
And what that simply means, I'm 6'8", 390 business pounds.
Yeah.
I'm light-skinned, I have a beard, I listen to music loud. When I get pulled over, it's never fun.
Yeah.
It sucks for me.
Yeah.
Because the cop gets out and goes, huh, because he'll see this sitting there.
Yeah.
Because I don't want him to go, huh, because he doesn't know.
Right.
There's a giant tattoo, and he has to investigate to see who I am and what I'm about.
Yeah.
Hands are on the steering wheel. I ask to do everything. If he asks me to get out of the car, I get out of the car.
Right.
That's compliance.
Yeah.
In all these cases, it's simple.
It must be great when you get out of the car.
Oh, it's awesome. For him,
Yes.
because he does, and it's not this, it's,
Yes.
and I do this amazing thing, because then I go, what'd you like to do, officer? You know, but I'm being compliant. Do I like it?
Yeah.
No. But it's not, he's the officer, he's the police.
Right.
He's the law. He has the right to investigate. When I'm compliant, nothing bad's going to happen to me. It's not my moment to resist arrest, and when everyone videotapes me resisting arrest and being taken down, that's where bad things happen. That doesn't make me Rosa Parks.
Right.
That makes me a criminal. And it has nothing to do with color. And I just want to make one thing that really bothered me. Like last night I talked to several, I wanted some more information because I'm on one side of it. I'm not a police officer.
Right.
So I actually had a chance to talk to a few of police officers. And the number one thing they all said, none of them knew each other, and they were different colors and origins, whatever, said the same thing. Black Lives Matter is an insult to every guy who puts on a badge and runs to those bullets being fired in those neighborhoods. And these are high crime areas.
Yeah.
These are things that are happening. They're in a war.
Yeah.
Every day. So my argument or my challenge would be to Black Lives leaders, which is not many of them. I mean, even the Johnny-come-latelys like Jesse Jackson didn't get involved. You know it's bad when Jesse Jackson, who's never wanted a free lunch in his life, not going to come to something. For them to be cops for a week.
Yeah.
For them to roll around these neighborhoods and see what they go through.
Yeah.
Because it's not okay. The resistance and the videotapes, our system is designed for us. So if you're arresting me and you're rough with me and it's on video, I go through the proper channels, I will sue you.
Yes.
You won't have your job anymore.
That is true.
But me fighting you back and picking that moment to be, and most people that are resistant is because they have something to hide.
Everybody take a seat and watch this segment. I promise you, you'll find it very interesting. That Black Lives Matter heard across the country and the campaign, on the campaign trail, most recently outrage over the case of Mansour Bal Bey, a young black man who was killed by two white St. Louis police officers. Police say he pointed a gun at them before they fired. His family disputes that. But where is the outrage over another death, the death of Jamila, 9-year-old Jamila Bolden, killed by a stray bullet in her home as she did her homework? At least one woman is very angry. I want you to listen to this video. It's from an African-American grandmother named Peggy Hubbard.
Who do you think they protested for? The thug, the criminal. Because they're hollering police brutality. Are you kidding me? Police brutality? How about black brutality? You black people, my black people, you are the most violent I have ever seen in my life. You're shooting at the police. Police drops your ass. Oh, poor so-and-so. He died due to police brutality. 127 homicides later, y'all want to holler police brutality? Black people, you're a joke. You're tearing up communities for thugs and criminals. You think the police are out here for fun? You think they're out here for games? They're not going to tuck you in. They're not going to give you a cookie and sing you a lullaby and tuck you in. No, they're going to pop a cap in your ass. You shoot at them, they're going to shoot at you.
Jamila Bolden, 9 years old, lost her life in her own home doing her homework. Second, third day of school, looking forward to her future, and she's killed by a drive-by shooting, and it was the wrong house. It should have never happened to anybody, and it happened to her, a child. My husband and I were sitting on the couch watching television. I didn't even know about Jamila's death until the next day. We were sitting on the couch watching television, and they break into normal broadcasting because there's a full-blown riot in downtown, well, not downtown, but midtown St. Louis, in the neighborhood I grew up in, the Walnut Park, Wells, Goodfellow, that area, North City. And the police executed a search warrant. Suspects are in the house. They're running from the police, shooting at the police, and the police shot one of the suspects, and he was killed. And from what we understand, he had a gun, and it was a stolen weapon. Jamila, the day before, I didn't hear anything on it on the news, and I'm an avid news watcher. Nothing was reported. It was just a blip. This guy dies, this Bay guy dies, and all of a sudden, there's a full-blown riot in the neighborhood I grew up in. And there's nothing for her. And we're hollering, Black Lives Matter. He had his chance to matter. He chose his path. He chose his destiny. Jamila never got her destiny. She never got her promises. Her life mattered. Her dreams mattered. Her vision mattered. She could have been the next Secretary of State. She could have been the next Attorney General. She never got a chance.
And where was the outrage over her?
Black lives, they matter here. Black lives, they matter here.
This is Kogali confronting the premier yesterday when Kathleen Wynne addressed Black Lives Matter's protesters at Queen's Park. Wynne promised to meet with the group to discuss its concerns about police and the SIU. As for Kogali's tweet, I spoke with Sandy Hudson from Black Lives Matter earlier tonight.
This is extremely frustrating and emotional for me because we slept outside for 2 weeks to get somebody to care about death in our community. And this is what you've decided to focus on.
No, we focused on everything else that has gone on with the Black Lives Matter, but this is part of the whole story, though.
Has there been a story yet on Pierre Bonny?
Has there been stories on Black Lives Matter? We've been live there almost every day.
That is a public interest story about another Black life taken by police in Montreal. I am going to be talking about what is in the public interest with respect to Black death in my community.
So are there any plans to apologize for the tweet?
Premier Kathleen Wynne has committed to having a public conversation with us. And what would be really wonderful, is if media would talk to her about what those plans are going to be. She is the premier. She's accountable to the people. The SIU has not been accountable to the people, and that's what you should be focusing on.
Now, Sandy Hudson went on for several more minutes, but refused to actually comment on the tweet from Yusra Kogali.
For you starts now.
2 Westland teenagers murdered execution-style in a vacant Detroit field.
Now, 2.5 years later, their killers are going to prison for life. Fox 2's Amy Lang with more from today's emotional sentencing.
These families have waited so long for justice. Finally, their opportunity to address the men who killed their sons. But what one of the defendants had to say to them left everyone shaking their heads.
In the end, knowing who Jordan was, I believe he would want me to offer forgiveness. Although I know I may struggle with that endeavor for the rest of my life, it would be what Jordan would want. On behalf of Jordan and myself, I will pray for forgiveness for both of you.
And no matter what sentence the court imposes today, these defendants will have to answer to God. God's got this.
I'd like to say sorry to the families of Ayanna Jones, Michael Brown, Eric Gardner, and I want to apologize to them for not being able to get justice for their loved ones who was murdered in cold blood. And in respect for the peaceful protest, I want to say hands up, don't shoot, Black Lives Matter. That's it, Your Honor.
Sir, the court believes you represent a danger to the community. This appears not to be an isolated incident. The court notes the strength of the case against you. The court also notes that a police officer had a shot taken from him, most likely from the vehicle you were in, where there were 2 guns found, where shortly thereafter you bailed out of that car And
Your Honor, I
don't
read the
interrupt me,
probable cause
sir.
affidavit.
Sir, don't interrupt
Dale, wait
the
up.
court.
Hold
Thank
on,
you.
Dale. Hold on, Dale.
And they found you with a gun holster on, hiding in water under someone's dock. Yes, the court does believe you represent a danger not only to the people of the community who own homes, who own vehicles, but the court also notes that a police officer had a shot taken at him. So, anything you want to add, Mr. Miller?
Yes, my reading of the probable cause affidavit never places Mr. Clark inside the car.
Okay. Running from the area where the car was. And the co-defendant Wesley admits that Clark was there with everyone else to burglarize the vehicles in the area. So,
okay, so the guns are found in the car. Mr. Clark is never connected with the car. Again, how are we connecting him with the shot being fired?
Sir, I'm going to say
shots are being fired, and he's running from the scene because shots are being fired.
Right. And he's got a holster.
In light of what's
and he's
happening
got a holster on. Got it.
Your Honor,
Sir,
in light of what's happening in this country with unarmed black men being killed by police,
don't hand me that. Don't
hand
me
running
that.
from shots being
don't
fired
even go
is a
down that
very
road.
reasonable
I'm not going to let you go down that road. That is so off base. We've got a young man. I don't care what color he is. He's in a neighborhood he doesn't live in at 1:41 in the morning, hiding on under somebody's dock in the water with a holster on after a police officer had a shot taken at him. Don't hand me this. He's a black man running from police brutality. Look, that is not appropriate in this case. That's not there. I'm not going to let you poison this case with bringing in something that has nothing to do with it. Your bond's $100,000 on count 3 and $100,000 on count 4. Thank you. Now, Donnie Heath, I got to take a break. I'll be right back.
Thanks very much, Adam. Well, it's a tweet from Black Lives Matter co-founder Yusra Kogali that has raised eyebrows and concern. It reads, quote, "Please, Allah, give me strength not to cuss/kill these men and white folks."